Things just got really crazy in the wall GoFundMe story. This is from BuzzFeed News. GoFundMe is refunding all $20 million in donations to build Trump's wall after the plans changed. The Iraq war veteran behind the crowdsourcing effort suddenly changed his plans Friday on what to do with the funds. You can't do that. So first, before I read through this is crazy. The guy, Brian Kolfage, has been accused time and time again of running fake news websites or producing fake news in exchange for money. It could just be, because, and this is one of the problems of crying wolf. I don't know if I necessarily trust BuzzFeed or these other outlets, and that's a huge problem, okay? BuzzFeed I tend to trust more than many other outlets, okay? And the main reason for this is that, first, let me just say BuzzFeed and BuzzFeed News, very different, okay? No, seriously, I think they're even different companies. So it's true that BuzzFeed's going to eat some of the ramifications of, it's basically the same brand. The issue is, I know people who work at BuzzFeed, and they have done right on numerous occasions where others have done wrong. For instance, BuzzFeed, as far as I know, they never report on that phony alternative influence network story because there was no evidence, and I talked to them about this, and I respect that. And I've also, I know the editor-in-chief. So I look at this story and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but trust me, this is very contentious. It's very, very contentious. I also have seen some reporting from Brianna Sachs, who worked on the story, and I generally trust her reporting. I follow her on Twitter. She's done some on-the-ground stuff, so I think this might be on the up and up. I mean, ultimately, who can you trust? You know what I mean? It's hard to know when someone does right or wrong. The other day, I covered a story that was from the Daily Wire. It turned out they were covering the Daily Star, and it was fake. These things happen. But let's take a look at this. GoFundMe will refund more than $20 million in donations made by hundreds of thousands of people to an online effort to build President Trump's border wall with Mexico after the Iraq war veteran behind the crowdsourcing effort suddenly changed his plans Friday on what to do with the funds. In an update to the We the People Will Build the Wall campaign, Brian Kolfage wrote, actually, I think, do we have the link to the, maybe, I want to try and pull up the actual story. Say, Brian Kolfage wrote that rather than donating the money raised to the federal government, it would instead be handed over to a private nonprofit he said he had established in order to construct a wall himself. The federal government won't be able to accept our donation anytime soon, he wrote. We are better equipped than our own government to use the donated funds to build an actual wall on the southern border. Imagine that. Imagine if he had initially just claimed, made a GoFundMe and said, I'm going to give this money to the government, but if they won't accept it or don't want to, it'll be going to a private foundation I will organize to actually build the wall. That would have worked, but he changed it. When he first created the campaign in mid-December, Kolfage had set an ambitious $1 billion goal for the crowdsourcing effort and pledged to refund all the money himself if the target was not met, according to an internet archive. Here we go. So we have the archive. 100% of donations will go to the Trump wall, Kolfage wrote. If for any reason we don't reach our goal, we will refund your donation. The language was later removed from the fundraiser page. However, that did not happen. GoFundMe spokesperson Bobby Whithorn told BuzzFeed News in an email after Kolfage changed the campaign's original promise. This means all donors will receive a refund. If a donor does not want a refund, Whithorn continued, and they want their donation to go to the new organization, they must proactively elect to redirect the donation to that organization. If they do not take that step, they will automatically receive a refund. Kolfage didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on Friday, but Jennifer Lawrence, a spokesperson for the new campaign, disputed the characterization that donors were being refunded. So they said, more lies from BuzzFeed. Everyone is being given the opportunity to approve of the new plan or receive a refund at Brian Kolfage's insistence. 90 days for people to make a decision. So Brianna tweeted this, and let's pull up her tweet. This is why I did that thing in the beginning. This is why I talked about who do you trust, what do you do, right? Because it's tough. It really is. So here we have a series of tweets from just the other day. Let's see what she's calling us specifically. As the campaign took off, I guess, which means Kolfage has been changing the language about refunding the money. 12:18, if for any reason we don't reach our goal, we will refund your donation. 12:19, saying they will hold funds but will refund if goal not hit. 22nd, refund promise gone. Now, will hold all funds. So Kolfage has again updated the campaign to build the wall himself. He's formed a nonprofit to move the money to and build and a team. Since he broke his original promise, GoFundMe said all donors will receive a refund. However, so she's got an alert from the other day. The $20 million Build the Wall campaign is getting refunded. GoFundMe is refunding everyone, 330,000 people, who donated because, according to a spokesperson, Kolfage broke the original promise of the campaign to give the money back if they didn't reach their goal. And this is from the statement that was in the piece. She said, so you're automatically refunding $20 million, GoFundMe? Yes. And here's Kolfage's new nonprofit, which he will send the money from GoFundMe donors who still trust him with it. To build the wall, he has engaged an impressive team of advisors to provide critical guidance, which includes Sheriff David Clark. But let's take a look at what Jennifer Lawrence thread has said. I want to see some of the replies to here. I was going to jump back, but I want to look at this specifically. When she said, more lies from BuzzFeed, everyone is being given the opportunity to approve of the new plan or receive a refund at Kolfage's insistence. 90 days, we read through that. And so, please note, contributions are generally not tax deductible. I guess that's all she had to say. So let's read on and see what BuzzFeed says. But I want to stop and point something out too. This is one of the challenges with partisan reporting. Is it fair to say that they changed the promise? I think so, but GoFundMe said people have to proactively redirect their donations. Okay, there you go. If GoFundMe is refunding people, then what's the real issue, right? If it would seem that GoFundMe is making sure that people are protected and get their money back. I don't see there being any problem with what Brian Kolfage did necessarily. Ultimately, I will concede that by changing the rules, GoFundMe essentially just said, you know what, we're refunding everybody no matter what. That's what BuzzFeed is reporting. So it seems like whatever Kolfage did may have just ended the campaign, but let's read on. However, Whitthorne told BuzzFeed News that donors will be automatically refunded unless they choose otherwise. Kolfage said the nonprofit's advisory board included, among others, Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kolbach, Blackwater founder Eric Prince, controversial former Wisconsin Sheriff David A. Clark Jr., and Fox News contributor Sarah A. Carter. Kolbach confirmed his involvement in the project in a tweet. He said, I am pleased to serve on the board of directors for this project. We the people will fund the wall. We'll fund private construction of a wall on America's southern border in order to protect citizens and preserve U.S. sovereignty. Outside of this GoFundMe, I have no problem with this, right? I don't see anybody having that issue. GoFundMe naturally is under stress because of the nature of the GoFundMe. It's very political, it's very partisan. And many people thought they would never reach $1 billion, and I think it's fair to say they will never reach $1 billion. However, that doesn't mean they can't build a wall. It doesn't mean they can't do a separate nonprofit. And if GoFundMe is going to refund the donations, then I think everything's fine. There was a layer of security and protection going through GoFundMe. Be critical of Brian Kolfage and his team all you want. It seems like everyone's going to be okay in this regard. I don't see any reason why they can't go and build the wall themselves. They say, Kolfage is a recipient of the Purple Heart Medal. His legs and right arm were amputated as a result of a rocket attack during his second Iraq tour, but has a history of creating and profiting from fake, inflammatory news and right-wing conspiracy theories, and has been permanently suspended from Facebook. Some of the stories on his now-defunct web pages falsely accuse Democratic megadonor George Soros of funding domestic terrorists and former President Barack Obama of being a pedophile. I also want to point out, too, while I am probably the biggest opponent of fake news, and it's like what I hate the most, I also recognize there's a difference between people who actually believe conspiracy theories and those who are trying to profit off of lying. And that's the challenge. Do you accuse someone of having the intent to defraud, or is it just someone's not that bright and believes weird wackaloon things? The veteran has also spearheaded other crowdfunding ventures over the years, raising thousands of dollars on GoFundMe with the promise of helping mentor fellow vets at military hospitals. But spokespersons for the medical centers told BuzzFeed News they have no record of Kolfage working at their facilities or donating any money. Kolfage has repeatedly said he would not take any money from the wall donations. He has started another GoFundMe campaign with a $100,000 goal that he says will be used to help him fight for free speech and take action against Facebook, which deleted several of his pages in October during a major purge of inauthentic accounts, which I want to point out too. Some of them were actually authentic. What actually happened is that Facebook was heavy-handed. They deleted out a lot of accounts who were essentially manipulating the algorithm, but didn't know they weren't allowed to do it. I'm not going to defend the action. They weren't all inauthentic. Some of them were legitimate accounts that published just independent and alternative news. Shortly after he established the Wall fundraiser last month, Kolfage updated the webpage to include a separate website that included a Colorado P.O. box where he said donors could mail personal checks to support the cause. The amount raised with personal checks was not known, but Kolfage said Friday on Twitter it was enough to put the campaign over the record. Which one, the $100,000? A GoFundMe spokesperson said the funds could not be guaranteed. The federal government isn't precisely able to accept financial donations with strings attached. But last month, Republicans introduced legislation that would allow Treasury officials to do so for the border wall. So it would seem we got a partisan fight. Obviously, because people on the left oppose the wall because they oppose Trump, they're going to be critical of somebody who wants to build a wall. You can choose to do with your money however you see fit, and if GoFundMe is going to refund everybody, I really don't see an issue here, excuse me. So for the time being, if you trust the guy and you want to give him money, do what you want to do. However, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards not trusting him at all. I think he's very clever when it comes to marketing and PR and all that stuff. I would not question his integrity. I mean, he's a veteran who sacrificed so much for the United States, and I can respect that. I'm just rather neutral on whether, I'm not going to give him money. I wouldn't pay to fund the wall either. That's on you guys who want the wall. I'm not, I don't know, whatever. I think the issue is really, take it with a grain of salt. BuzzFeed News, it's a New York liberal type publication. I actually do trust them to a certain extent. And they haven't been perfect. It's just, I'll tell you what's going to happen, and the reason why I have this attitude is that the right will just defend Kolfage and say they trust him, and the left will defend BuzzFeed News and say this guy's a liar, and both will just be at arms. That's the culture war. So, I mean, there's the information. Do with it what you will. Thanks for hanging out. I'll have more videos tomorrow, and I'll see you then.